The ancient gears of the world grind slowly and relentlessly, as if maintaining a rhythm only they comprehend. It was under such a sky of rhythmic ennui that Matthew Darrow sat, ensconced in his worn leather chair, amidst a maelstrom of scattered files, newspaper clippings, in the faded memories they entombed. Matthew, with his weather-beaten face and kindly eyes, found solace in the sacred silence of his office, the steady drum of rain on the windowpane his only companion. As he sipped on his ink-black coffee, the bitterness was not a sting, but a comforting reminder of the tangibility of his world. A world that existed primarily in grays and blues, where he carefully untangled knots of human folly and the mysteries they spawned. The door to his office creaked open and, as if on cue, a faint gust of wind rustled the stacked papers on his desk, bringing with it an echo of an unattended past. It was a case file, a thin veneer of dust blanketing the cover as if attempting to hide the ominous secrets lurking beneath. "The Wellington anomaly," he read aloud, the words hanging heavily in the hushed silence. "A crypt, an unknown life form, a family legacy lost to time," he muttered, fingers grazing over the papers that bore the weight of Norwalk's unspeakable mystery. The grating hum of the town bus shook Matthew from his musings. His reflection in the window bore a man, not defined by his graying hair, but by his gaze, gentle yet determined, a vestige of countless battles against the shadows of uncertainty. His history bore an insatiable thirst for truth, an unspoken oath birthed from a childhood fear of being lost and a desperate longing to belong. His thoughts traced the footsteps of a younger version of himself, lost and frightened in a vast, faceless wilderness. Just as he'd searched for a way out then, he now sought to illuminate the dark corners of his world. It was a quest for purpose, a quest for meaning, a quest that invariably led him to the doorsteps of Norwalk. The quaint Connecticut town seemed draped in a shroud of unending twilight. It bore the weight of the Wellington family crypt, the epicenter of whispers that wound through the winding lanes and into the hushed tones of the townsfolk. Its mere existence seemed to challenge the mundane reality they clung to, presenting a puzzle that yearned to be solved. As the day waned into a premature dusk, he packed his satchel, his heart echoing the rhythmic thrum of the rain. "I am no stranger to the labyrinth," he whispered to his reflection, his voice reverberating through the quietude of his office. In the distance, the bus to Norwalk idled, its engines hum a siren song that beckoned him to embark on his next journey. With one last lingering look at his sanctuary, he stepped into the yawning night, his figure swallowed by the spectral gloom. The quaint town of Norwalk awoke under a sky of washed-out gray. A specter of melancholy hung heavy over its cobblestone streets, the pallid morning light casting long, wistful shadows over its sleep-soaked edifices. The bus coughed its last breath, the tired old beast announcing its arrival as it deposited Matthew onto the time-worn stones of the town center. A figure of solitude amongst the awakening stirrings of the town, he watched the sun struggle against the oppressive cloud cover, the faint light bouncing off the waterlogged cobblestones. His feet were unfamiliar with the worn paths, yet his heart reverberated with an eerie sense of déjà vu, as though he had retraced steps from a forgotten past. He moved with purpose, his gaze intent on the town's aging structures, their decrepit facades whispering tales of faded glory. His arrival had not gone unnoticed. Curious eyes peered from behind draped curtains, their wary expressions betraying the town's undercurrent of unease. In the town's only diner, he slipped onto a vacant bar stool, the hushed murmur of conversation circling him like a cautious vulture. He found himself conversing with the wrinkled barkeep, whose eyes held a reservoir of stories yet untold. "The Wellington crypt," Matthew ventured, his tone intentionally casual, as if discussing the weather. The barkeep stilled, the clink of glasses abruptly silenced. He wiped his hands on his apron, eyes lingering on the worn wood of the bar. "Now that's a tale I haven't heard in a while," he murmured, a shadow of unease passing over his lined face. He began spinning his tale, each word intertwining with the next, painting a picture of a crypt shrouded in mystery and an enigma that seemed to grow with each passing generation. "The Wellington family was once a proud lineage," he spoke, a pillar of the community that had crumbled into obscurity, leaving behind only the crypt and its inexplicable resident. Matthew listened, his eyes reflecting the muted light that streamed through the stained window, illuminating the drifting motes of dust. His mind absorbed the information, piecing together fragments of a puzzle that seemed to reach beyond the limits of human understanding. After leaving the diner, he felt the weight of Norwalk's silence, its stillness echoing his memories of being lost in the wilderness of his youth. It was a silence that swallowed the world, punctuated only by the crunch of his boots against the gravel path that led to the crypt. The Wellington crypt loomed in the distance, an unwelcome monument against the backdrop of dreary skies and desolate fields. It was an edifice that seemed to whisper of forgotten sins and buried truths, its aura of desolation extending to the confines of the town. He stood at the crypt's entrance, the echo of the barkeep's tale still lingering in his mind. The air seemed to grow denser, the murmuring wind carrying the crypt's secret whispers. He sensed the labyrinth he was about to delve into, the unspoken dread of his childhood trauma resurfacing like a ghost from the depths. "Whispers of the forgotten," he murmured, his gaze unwavering as he faced the crypt. The last vestiges of daylight receded, leaving behind a world swallowed by shadows. A gust of wind howled through the crypt's entrance, carrying with it an anticipation of the horrors yet to unfold. Matthew's world contracted to the constrictive stone corridors of the crypt, the damp air heavy with the musk of ages past. His flashlight cut through the oppressive darkness, its feeble rays ricocheting off the ancient stone and illuminating his descent into the belly of the mystery. As he delved deeper, the crypt revealed subtle traces of recent activity. A whiff of burnt incense lingered in the stale air, its ethereal scent whispering tales of clandestine rituals. Matthew paused, crouching to inspect a small pile of fresh wax drippings, their stark whiteness an anomaly in the shadow-ridden crypt. As he moved deeper, he noticed the faint crimson chalk markings on the wall, like malignant tendrils creeping through the crypt's veins. His fingers traced over the cryptic symbols, their cold touch like an echo of a forgotten language. They were patterns of a clandestine existence, the shadows in the chalice that the crypt harbored. Upon exiting the crypt, he found himself in the heart of the quiet town once more. Its innocuous facade was a stark contrast to the crypt's grim secrets, a dichotomy that played on his nerves. He sought out the local historian, a woman named Judith, who dwelt in a Victorian house teeming with archival paraphernalia. Judith, a skeletal figure in the annals of the past, peered at him from behind thick glasses, her wrinkled face creasing into a maze of worry lines as he mentioned the crypt. The quietude of her cluttered study became heavy with unspoken tension, their conversation punctuated by the distant tolling of a church bell. "The Wellingtons," she began, her voice wavering like a ghost of a forgotten melody, "once pillars of Norwalk, now fallen into shadows. It's said they dabbled in unseen realms." Her gnarled fingers trembled as she handled an aged document, its parchment paper singing of antiquity. The revelations from Judith and the disconcerting findings within the crypt melded into a grotesque tapestry in Matthew's mind. The Wellingtons, the crypt, the cult-like symbols, they were not mere fragments of separate narratives, but pieces of an insidious puzzle. A shadowy waltz of power and fear was being choreographed in the crypt's silent halls. A feeling of dread settled over him, his childhood fear of being lost resurfacing amidst the crypt's labyrinthine stone corridors. As he descended deeper, he couldn't shake off the sensation of being watched. A presence seemed to linger in the crypt's shadowy recesses, unseen yet palpable. An inexplicable magnetism propelled Matthew deeper into the crypt's unfathomable depths, each step echoing through the ancient passageways. His world was illuminated by the flashlight's hesitant beam, his journey accompanied by the quiet, unsettling whispers of unseen entities. The air was saturated with dread, his senses heightened to a pitch beyond the ordinary, a bitter reminder of his solitary venture into the unknown. His light danced on a peculiar symbol etched on the crypt's stone wall, an arcane pattern that seemed to echo the blood-red chalk markings he had previously encountered. The symbol throbbed with an eldritch energy, its aura akin to an unseen heartbeat. It was a cipher that belonged to the alien realm, a revelation that sent shivers down his spine. This uncanny discovery set his mind alight with questions, his instincts sensing the malevolent force that seemed to coil around the crypt's air. The Wellingtons and their shadowed past were now taking a disturbing form, the pieces of the cryptic puzzle shifting into a harrowing image. Returning to the surface world, Matthew found himself visiting the barkeep again, their conversations becoming an unlikely solace amidst the escalating enigma. The air was thick with the aroma of aging wood and anticipation. His inquiries of the Wellington family met with hushed whispers and evasive glances. Amongst the muffled murmurs and veiled implications, the barkeep offered a piece of information that sent a jolt of realization through him. "The Wellingtons," he intoned, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "They were involved in something otherworldly. Rumor has it their wealth came from something unearthly." His investigations led him back to the crypt, armed with newfound knowledge and an unsettling revelation. The crypt now seemed to him a Pandora's box of cosmic horror, the darkness within housing unspeakable truths. As he ventured deeper, his senses vibrated with an unseen frequency. A cold breeze swept through the crypt, the chilling wind whispering of a force beyond human comprehension. His heart pounded in sync with the crypt's alien rhythm, a symphony of cosmic terror echoing in the dark. The arcane symbol, once etched on cold stone, now stared back at him from a monumental door, its looming presence a harbinger of the dread within. With a final glance at the familiar world behind him, he pushed open the door, stepping over the threshold into the unknown. What he saw was an unholy sanctuary of the cult that lay hidden within the depths of the crypt. The air thrummed with an unnerving energy, the darkened chamber littered with remnants of grotesque rituals and otherworldly artifacts, the residue of the Wellingtons' unspeakable pact. In the middle of the chamber, an object of alien design pulsated with an unsettling aura, its existence defying earthly constraints. It was a physical manifestation of the unknown lifeform, a product of an ancient covenant between the Wellingtons and the unseen realms of the cosmos. The unspeakable revelation sent a shiver of terror and fascination through him, the enormity of the cosmic horror unveiling itself in this forgotten crypt. The labyrinthine crypt of Norwalk had unveiled its horrific secret to Matthew, the pulsating alien entity presenting a stark antithesis to his understanding of reality. He stood transfixed, the alien light casting his shadow upon the crypt's ancient walls, the silence penetrated only by the throbbing pulse of the cosmic horror. A strange feeling of familiarity washed over him, a disconcerting sense of déjà vu from his childhood ordeal of being lost. Only this time, the labyrinth was not a wilderness, but a crypt housing an unknown life form, and the abyss, a cosmic terror that stared back at him from the heart of Norwalk. A disturbing clarity gripped him. The Wellingtons had delved into the cosmos's unfathomable depths, drawn by an insatiable curiosity, only to be consumed by its incomprehensible might. The cosmic horror was their legacy, their cryptic symbols a testament to their monstrous pact. Haunted by the alien presence, he ventured back to the town, his mind swirling with a maelstrom of cosmic revelations. The world above seemed eerily mundane compared to the labyrinthine crypt's chilling reality, a canvas painted in shades of normalcy under the abyss's looming shadow. His encounters with the townsfolk were laced with an unsettling knowledge that bound them together. The quiet barkeep, the elderly historian, the whispered tales of the Wellingtons. They were, knowingly or not, pieces of a grand, horrifying puzzle, pawns in a cosmic chess game. Yet, amidst all that, Matthew felt an empowering surge of determination, an urge to break the cycle, to bring an end to the cosmic horror that lurked beneath Norwalk. It was a testament to his open-minded spirit, his childhood trauma turning into a beacon guiding him through the unknown. He returned to the crypt for a final confrontation. He stood before the alien entity, its pulsating rhythm echoing his resolute heartbeat. The cosmic horror stared back, its silent abyss seeming to question his audacity to challenge the unfathomable. But his resolve did not waver. It was a silent declaration of a human spirit standing against the might of the cosmos, a beacon against the engulfing abyss. The crypt began to shudder, its ancient stones resonating with the cosmic entity's pulse. A whirlwind of chaotic energy surged around him, a testament to the impending cosmic convergence. It was a sight of terror and beauty, the crypt a canvas upon which the monstrous pact of the Wellingtons was depicted. He took a deep breath, his resolve hardening. He held out his hand, an ordinary man standing firm against an extraordinary terror, marking his place in the annals of cosmic horror. His spirit became a beacon in the abyss, a testament to humanity's relentless will against the incomprehensible might of the cosmos. In the end, it was an act of defiance that sealed his victory, his courage resonating stronger than the throbbing pulse of the entity. The crypt trembled one last time, the labyrinth closing in on itself, the abyss receding into silence. The final echoes of the confrontation faded, leaving behind an ordinary crypt in an ordinary town. Matthew emerged from the labyrinth, his silhouette etched against the rising sun. The cosmic horror was no more, its memory trapped within the stone walls of the crypt. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe to our channel, where you can find more similar stories, and click on the bell icon to never miss one. There is plenty more cosmic horror to come from the Eldritch Tales Factory. Stay tuned, and until next time.